From prehistoric to present, welcome back to Creature Guide Live. We have resolved our technical difficulties, so let's dive right back into the news. From discoverwildlife.com, this stinky substance is 8 times the price of gold and harvested from one of the world's rarest creatures. This scent is sometimes described as mimicking the natural smell of human skin. Um, why would it said it didn't smell too great originally? Who do we have here? Known for its association with perfume, musk is a strong smelling substance produced by the glands of muskrats, some civet species, and musk deer. In adult musk deer, the material is produced by a gland located on the abdomen. The gland is found in a hair covered sac, that's commonly called a musk pod. The word musk comes from the Persian muskos and the Sanskrit muska. Um, okay, so let's keep going. What? Okay, yeah, know this. Oh, so something. So, um, I'm just kind of looking to see if anything's. This is kind of sad. Let's move to the next one. The thing is that it's just talking a bit about. It seems like the harvesting of the rare musk deer in certain areas and civets and muskrats for perfume. I just don't want to get into that. Okay, so moving forward from WCB.FM, venomous jellyfish with 24 eyes discovered in Hong Kong stunned scientists. I didn't know there were any animals in Hong Kong because it just looks like one big concrete jungle. I know there's little bits of forest here and there, but okay, it's not every day that a routine water check turns into a moment straight out of a nature documentary. But that's exactly what happened in Hong Kong, where a team of researchers stumbled upon a tiny venomous jellyfish. Of course, it's a tiny animal, square shaped and equipped with a staggering 24 eyes. While studying water quality in a quiet green tinted pond at the Mai Po Nature Reserve, scientists dipped in a net expecting the usual suspects algae, maybe a few tadpoles, pulled up a new transparent jellyfish, less than a centimeter long, with a cube shaped body and eyes on every side. Interesting. So where are they seeing the eyes? Not just a couple of eyes, 24 of them arranged in clusters of 6. Oh, 2 in each set are capable of forming images while the others detect changes in light. It's like evolution gave this tiny creature a built-in surveillance system. Yeah, it did. Wow. Meet Tripedalia mypoensis. The discovery turned out to be more than just unusual. It was entirely new. Genetic and physical analysis revealed this was a never before seen species of box jellyfish, now officially named Tripedalia mypoensis, in honor of the Maipo region. If the phrase box jellyfish rings a bell, it should. This group includes some of the most venomous sea creatures on the planet. Though this new species is tiny, its biology packs a punch. It's fast. 2, thanks to paddle-like structures at the base of its tentacles that help it zip through water with surprising agility. Each of its 4 corners sprouts 3 long tentacles, giving it 12 in total, combined with its eye clusters and sleek, transparent body. Tripedalia mypoensis feels like something nature engineered for speed and sensory precision. Huh, wow. I didn't hit me that there was that intact of forest in the area. This is the first time a box jellyfish has been identified in Chinese waters, and that alone is significant. Marine biologists point out that such discoveries highlight just how much is still unknown about aquatic life in this region. Beyond the novelty, this tiny jellyfish could provide clues about biodiversity shifts, particularly as climate change. Ugh. It's a reminder. So let's see. It's like, what does this have to do with? I'm just glad you found an animal in the area. It's still remarkable. It's easy to be dazzled. Okay. Ugh. Oh, that's it. Okay, well, I'm glad we found this little tiny jellyfish. And that's quite interesting with the 6 clusters of 24 eyes. Or the 4 clusters of 6. Anyway, so moving forward from Reuters, right, Reuters.com. This special patrol protecting Spain's brown bears and wary villagers. So it seems that they're giving this individual a check. Oh, a female Iberian brown bear lies um, anesthetized while I'm sure. Ugh. Veterinarians perform a health checkup in Valerino, Spain. So this was over in September 8th, 2021. Um, yeah, she seems to be in good condition, at least when looking at her fur texture, her overall body size. Okay, so Spain's brown bears, once nearly extinct, stray into the mountain villages in the north of the country so often these days that the regional government of Castile and Leon has set up a patrol for locals to report animals on the prowl. Oh, wow. Huh. The patrol, which has 9 rangers, protects residents and their crops in the mining town of Villablino in the near province of Palencia and other surrounding areas, aiming to keep endangered Iberian brown bears safe and healthy and allow humans and animals to coexist. Routers was granted exclusive access to the patrol over the past 3 years, accompanying rangers on their nocturnal callouts. That's an interesting view. So, possibly somewhat adjacent to the Pyrenees Mountains over in like southern France and northern Spain. So let's see. Environmental agents from Cerva de Pisuerga and veterinarians from the regional government of Castile and Leon monitor the mountains where Iberian brown bears live in Valle de Peneda, Spain on May 18th, 2022. So this was a little more than what, a year later. Adult bears can weigh as much as 150 to 250 kilograms. So they are smaller than ones that you'll find further north in Europe and definitely like Canadian brown bears or Alaskan interior brown bears or even some brown bears interior Russia. So what this equates to somewhere around um what, 500 pounds? That's a big animal for the region. They can live for up to 30 years. Okay, so let's see. 3 decades ago, there were only 60 bears left in Spain, but today, the population numbers over 400. Wow, I actually didn't know that. I thought there were far fewer. Wow, that was a massive increase. Hmm. The higher number of bears is leading to a greater number of encounters with humans, however. For some, the bears are okay, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Oh, I guess just a female with her cub? Hmm. So a
Is
female
she giving him a bath?
wonder if it's snowing, might be raining. Female Iberian brown bear and her cubs sit on top of a rock in the, Honduras area, Spain, November 3rd, 2021. Hmm. To ease locals' concerns, the patrol must act fast. As soon as staff receive a call to their 24-hour phone line, they grab the radios, rubber balls, shotguns, and dragging devices and rush out the door. Their mission is to deter the bears from the villages by firing warning shots while following a strict protocol. The increase in the bear population leads to the bears now approach the villages more often as they struggle to find enough food up in the mountains. I think I mean, unless it's not great habitat, which we honestly have no idea, but, maybe there was some sort of a drought. They probably just want to go over to certain crop fields because they know that there's plentiful supply of carbohydrates in the region, especially towards the fall and, like, black bears in North America or even brown bears in other regions, North America, Europe, Asia. It's going to occur.
Also, if people are cooking, right?
Well, yeah, they smell that too. So, let's see. Um So this so this is what a remote controlled caged trap bears in Sosas de la Sierra, Spain on August 16th, 2023. This is what the bears are smelling. Villager, Angeles Rallo, 73, is one of those who finds the bear's presence challenging. Mm. I would think you would be somewhat thankful that they're there. I mean, you have these animals. But while some locals feel unsafe and worry about their crops, the patrol is proving a boon for the Iberian brown bear population.
Wait a minute. So, basically exactly what you just said.
What?
It just said the crops.
Keep their their vegetable garden. Yeah, I wonder what they're eating out of there. I think they're smelling something else.
In
Um,
Spain?
yeah, maybe that's not what else? I don't think they're really eating any vegetables. Maybe they're going after tomatoes. That's fruit. Anyway, let's see. And is providing an income for locals from tourists who come to the region to spot the bears, still considered endangered in the Cantabrian Mountains. Oh yeah, only 400 in Spain. Not even close to a good healthy population. So it looks like he's probably um he's tracking a collared bear. So Daniel Pinto searches for a bear with signal of a GPS collar in Vega de Fiojo, Spain, November 2nd, 2023. So this is in, yeah, different regions of the mountains. So let's see. Um, so a team of veterinarians, biologists, and mountain rangers developed in 2021 a new satellite system to monitor the animals, as well as an innovative remote-controlled cage that can trap the bears without trapping other species. Okay, so I think it's that same female brown bear. She's okay. They're just giving her a health checkup. Yeah, she seems to be doing pretty well. So yeah, she's just examining the mouth. This is the first brown bear to be captured after decades. Wow. I would have thought they were already catching brown bears. This is quite astonishing for Spain. Environmental agents, so here's on the other side, I believe it's the same bear. Um, well, environmental agents, members of the Palatine Mountain Bear Patrol, and veterinarians examine an Iberian brown bear in Tosande, Spain on July 5th, because this was September 8th. This was also 2023, or it's the same bear just years later. So here, veterinarian Maria Noces prepares an injection to anesthetize it's going through anesthesia. Um, on May 20th, 2022, and then here, they're just simply measuring the head of the bear. Mm, yeah, this is really good. Once caught, the bears are, anesthetized, and a GPS collar is placed around their necks to make it easier to locate them in the future. Also, you also partially just can locate them. I mean, you probably could without it to be you would need a very you would need to be constantly, in the territory within that individual. So let's see. Rangers have so far trapped 12 bears that were then released far from the villages, preventing them from eating crops, garden fruit, and vegetables. As long as there's not an extreme drought or certain wildfires that occur in the area. Knowing the bears are further away reassures locals they won't bump into one. Well, I'd always keep an eye out. The aim is to seek solutions to. Okay, so let's see. Oh, so it's probably during the summer. He looks a bit thinner, and he does have those peculiar Iberian brown bear ears. Or she. Oh yeah, she has a collar. This is the same one. So this was over on August 4th, 2023, and she's in, yeah, Villar, de Santiago. Is that it? I don't think so. Oh, okay, just talking to people. Oh, wait, is that from one of them? He determined okay, it wasn't killed. Yeah, I was kinda wondering, that's also a weird place for a bear to bite. They tend to I mean, okay, maybe a bit further back towards the, back vertebra, parts of the shoulder blade. That's a weird wonder what happened. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that's the cattle's protection. Okay, so this is that specific one from what, 2021 or 2023? Yep, it's that same female
Is
from
that a cub?
2021. Yeah, it's possibly not fully grown, but, uh, it's pretty heavy. It's a lot of, strain on your muscles when you're carrying something like that. It's fun though. Okay, there's his feet. This was
That's just
same
funny.
it's the same female. That doesn't look good. So she wait a second. Did she get herself, or is that was the paint already there? Did she injure herself? It just says, bites the bars of a remote control cage from a special program. Was she in here for a long period? I don't know what's going on here because her paws is it maybe some material that's coming off of the bars? I don't know. It's obviously angry. Okay, okay, so this is where he's watching the female probably getting trapped by the cage. Okay, okay, this is where they're releasing
That looks
her.
like it's getting pulled back in.
Yeah, it
It
does.
looks like, "Help!"
It's a stuffed bear. Okay. I was fire for a second. Yeah, okay. Well well, that I was shocked that this was, just in the past, what, 4 years, they've started collaring, bears over in Spain despite them already, um, re-inhabiting the country. That's just shocking. Okay, so from the Salt Lake Tribune, rare wolf faces hard road to recovery. Let's see what's going on. So, is that where that picture is from? Wow, that's been out for years. So it's a gray wolf at the Wildlife Science Center in Forest Lake, Minnesota. Okay, so, um, okay. Just 286 wild wolves roam Arizona and New Mexico, and perhaps 35 inhabit Mexico. They've wait, mm, I didn't know we had reintroduced wolves to Mexico, while 350 are in captivity. I think this is talking about the Mexican wolf. Human to blah, blah, blah. Um, uh, okay, so the commission has been declaring wolf emergency since 2006 when fewer than 2 dozen wolves populated the entire Southwest. Audrey McQueen, a New Mexico Catering County commissioner. Okay, oh, come on.
Why are they using Spanish in an English article?
Um, I don't know. Let's see. McQueen also complained that Mexican wolves have changed elk behavior. I wonder why, because they're going to eat them. If originally the elk are just feeding, you're like, yeah, I mean, cougars occasionally come over, but we just, intentionally injure one of our own so it can have it. But this is a bigger problem, and so we have to be a lot more alert. So let's see. Elk now act like elk, fleeing when hunters stop their trucks. The biological problem facing all living wolves is that they are descended from just 7 survivors, making inbreeding a concern. Yeah, that's the thing with the Mexican wolf subspecies, they are quite inbred. If they lose the protection of the Endangered Species Act, their populations will continue to diminish and inbreeding will increase. The problem is they already are. Let's see. Oh, by the way, this whole thing with the Endangered Species Act and taking several animals off, the argument has been going on for decades. At this point, well, actually, it's been a while. I don't really pay much attention to it. But, um, also well, okay, I'm kind of lying on that because I do check up on different things, more of, like, how much hunting might be allowed for certain animals, and it's just nuts how many would be allowed to, uh, take out. Anyway, until 2023, wolves were thought to have mostly escaped the genetic damage of inbreeding. But that year, Greta Anderson of the Western Watersheds Project, by the way, yes, another celebrity popped in my mind. It's not Thunberg. learned from a public records request that conjoined two topads called syndactyl. A symptom of severe inbreeding in canids was seen on the carcass of a captive wolf raised in this country and released in Mexico. Okay, that's specific. Now that researchers are looking for syndactyly, they're finding it in both wild and captive wolves. Yeah, unfortunately, with many captive wolves within even the United States, quite a few of them originally they weren't tested for how much genetic variety they had, and apparently, recently, it's looking like many are bred. The solution, Anderson explained, would be letting wolves occupy the northern part of their natural range, where we could hybridize northern gray wolves as they did historically. Um, I wonder how that would work in, like, the negative, consequences of, having these, possibly inbred wolves and also distinct subspecies, um, interbreed with, other wolves, possibly, parts of Alaska, Canada. I'm guessing that's where they're referring to, unless it's talking about specifically the Mexican wolf. That would only be different parts of, like, northern Arizona, New Mexico, possibly western Texas, maybe even Southern California, and possibly I think I've heard into, like, southern parts of Utah, Colorado, Nevada. Anyway, let's see, a new shot of northern gray wolf genes in the wolf population would relieve the genetic bottleneck. That's the other problem. They're just putting in lobo consistently or wolf, and they're not saying what specific subspecies, so I'm kind of confused. I think they're referring to the Mexican wolves, considering how few there are. And it keeps mentioning Arizona, New Mexico, so it's probably it. They're within, like, areas of western New Mexico and eastern Arizona. But a federal recovery plan imposes an artificial boundary, Interstate 40, which slices off the top third of Arizona and New Mexico. Whenever possible, all wolves that cross to the north are returned to the south. This boundary, insisted on by the two state wildlife agencies, is making true recovery impossible. I was wondering, like, do they not have any wildlife crossings? I guess there's only, so many. South of I-40, wolves are classified as a non-essential experimental population. That's interesting. I've heard of this with different animals, like, they're quite rare, but, um, they're not essential in this massive area of land. I couldn't imagine somebody saying that about, like, lions in Africa. They're not essential in this part of Botswana. Everybody would say, "What? How could you?" But with wolves, it's like, we don't want them." Um Meaning it's fine for managers to kill them if they're deemed problematic. It's only north of I-40 that wolves are fully protected as endangered. Okay, I'm confused because is this referring to, like, the different protected areas, so the different wildlife management areas, wildlife refuges, state parks, national forests, um, BLM or Bureau of Land Management regions? I'm confused, or is it like the whole, region? A draft recovery plan prescribed 3 U.S. subpopulations, each with at least 200 wolves, one south of I-40 north, within Utah Senator Orrin Hatch, uh, yeah, this is I also, have, this is annoying when people that don't really pay attention to wolves, but this isn't just, like, politicians, it's just other people in general, get in the middle of it and uh, cause a bunch of problems, especially for, increasing genetic variety for a certain region. Okay, so the current plan prescribes only a single subpopulation of 320 wolves, also I-40, and a subpopulation of 200 in Mexico. The Mexican subpopulation is a fantasy. Wait, so does that mean, like, the 35 mentioned earlier don't exist? There's a scant public land in Mexico, and ranchers there still poison wolves. Hmm, okay, so
Orrin Hatch hasn't been in the Senate in 6 or 7 years.
it came out this year, though, but here's the thing, um, I have caught it with different articles where certain newspapers will post the same incident, of an animal, like, 3 or 4 years later. So, um, but this sounds new. This is a higher number with the wolves. I didn't know this when it came to wolves over in Mexico. I thought they were completely extinct. Like, I'd heard of different sightings occurring, but not 35 individuals, and, they're all being
He's
poisoned.
also dead.
Huh. This article's weird. I'm here, I'm going to see if there's anything else. Um, oh, it's done. Honestly, glad. Um, I need to take a deeper look into what's going on with the Mexican wolves over in Arizona and New Mexico, possibly northern Mexico itself. Despite, their genetic problems, it's still, interesting to take a look at what's going on with their population. So, the Salt Lake Tribune, it's not a good source. Let's see. So from moving forward, news.mongabay.com, mass vulture poisonings expose need for cross-border action in Southern Africa. I've heard about this where there actually has been quite a few vulture poisonings, but it's not just the vultures, I mean, it's other animals in the region, in different parts of Africa. Whoa! Well, okay, you could say this is close to the number that you can see at certain carcasses. Is that an elephant? Looks too big to be anything else. You might be holding a tusk. Jeez, though. Woo! A cluster of mass vulture poisonings in May and June 2025 has drawn attention to an ongoing problem in the transfrontier conservation area that straddles South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. The field response to the poisonings involved teams of veterinarians, rapid response teams, and stepped up monitoring of the area, saving the lives of more than 80 vultures. Wow. Well, I mean, I guess I wouldn't call that a big number, but it's better than nothing. Let's see. The series of incidents triggered meetings involving South African national parks, conservation NGOs, and other authorities to assess where systems were lacking and could be improved. Experts say national strategies to okay, so let's keep going. A cluster of mass vulture poisonings earlier this year has drawn attention to an alarming ongoing problem in the greater Limpopo Transfrontier Conservation Area. So this is just northeast of the Kruger National Park in northeastern South Africa. And yeah, the Zimbabwe-South Africa, Mozambique border. So we basically have southeastern Zimbabwe, northeastern South Africa, and southwestern Mozambique right next to each other. So this is where it's occurring in Limpopo region, like, along the Limpopo River. Quite a few like hippos and Nile crocodiles also inhabit this area. So this is interesting that's occurring here. According to the European Wildlife Poisoning Database, more than 2,400 vultures have died from poisoning in the GLTFCA. I haven't looked into, like, the population of vultures actually in Africa, despite how often you see them. Um, anyway, let's take a deeper look, including in South Africa's famed Kruger National Park. In the past decade, as wide-ranging, slow-breeding keystone species of this landscape's ecology, vultures need urgent action to protect them, conservation authorities say. Other raptors, as well as mammal carnivores like hyenas, leopards, and lions, have also been poisoned. Yeah, I figured they're probably poisoning different water sources unless they put on like a carcass too. Let's see. The Endangered Wildlife Trust, which operates the poisoning database in cooperation with the Peregrine Fund, like the peregrine falcon, huh, says approximately 53 lions have been killed by poison in this vast cross-border protected area since 2015. Despite that sound like a small number, that's a pretty high number for the region, especially since there's not a lot of lions well, technically in general. Um, but you're looking at this part of, Mozambique, what was it, Zimbabwe, South Africa, especially within the Limpopo region, which is mainly concentrated, talking about the protected area, especially the national park in Mozambique. Um, there's far fewer lions there than there are like in the Kruger National Park. In just the past 2 years, 14 lions are known to have died from poisoning, and a further 10 more caught in snares and then killed by poachers. John Davies, project coordinator of raptor conservation and research at the Endangered Wildlife Trust, says the series of mass poisonings in May and June triggered meetings involving South Africa National Park, conservation NGOs, and other authorities to assess where systems were lacking and could be improved. I think that's a big positive. Andre, both co-chair of the vulture specialist group at the IUCN. Wow, they really do have a lot of conservation groups occurring here. The, um, the Global Wildlife Conservation Authority also expresses cautious optimism. We have witnessed similar meetings in the past with limited results, but I trust that the current high profile or recent events that will result in concrete action. Only because some of these people, I gotta be honest, I just, uh, sometimes these meetings I just see as irrelevant, and it's like, how are you still having these problems in some instances? That really does occur to me. I'm like, this really isn't anything new. There has been poisoning in the past, like way before 2015. So, yeah, let's keep going. He calls for a raft of short and long-term actions to address the multiple array of drivers behind the issues of poaching and poisoning. Yeah, no kidding. Sheesh. Let's get into more of this. There's a vulture in Kruger National Park. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, that's pretty devastating. So, yeah, this is in and around Kruger. They've hit critical levels, stretching back to 20. Okay, we said this earlier. It's sad.
Has it stated what they're being poisoned with?
No. I've seen, like, certain powder. No idea what that is. Okay, so, let's see. So, trying to look for anything else. It's being quite repetitive. Peace Parks Foundation? Hmm, okay, hold on a second. Let me read that sentence. On the Mozambique side in Limpopo National Park. So, okay. The Peace Parks Foundation, which co-manages the protected area, has established an intensive protective zone at a known poaching hotspot along the border with Kruger National Park. That is interesting. It's almost like outside of these areas where there tends to be higher density of animals, supposedly with better protection. Like outside of that zone, it's a massive, shooting area for the animals, kind of like outside of these protected areas or fenced-in areas in Australia to keep out, like, feral cats, feral dogs. Not so much the dingoes, though, but, um, it's just, war or not necessarily a war, but the marsupials become completely wiped out. So, that's interesting.
Did you say the marsupials?
I was talking about Australia. In these fenced-in areas, you have very rare species marsupials where outside of these areas, they're almost non-existent because the cats and dogs immediately take advantage. But you do have to include sometimes even the other reptiles and hawks in the region. Not that dingoes don't hunt marsupials, of course they do, but they tend to also have, they tend to go after more common species, like certain kangaroos or macropods. So let's see, it also includes wallabies, quokkas. Okay, so, this is in Ganarozoo National Park in Zimbabwe. Oh, he's got they have 2. Okay, so I think those are 2 of the 80 that they saved.
Are those young?
No, I think they're full grown.
Oh, their feathers are light colored.
Oh, differs on the species. Some are darker than others. Okay, so though this practice isn't considered a major driver of the recent vulture poisoning incidents, engaging with traditional healers and practitioners to develop alternatives to their use is still necessary. What's a traditional healer and practitioner? Uh, okay. Okay, is there anything else? Um, okay, here's a healthy lion and yeah, maybe he's going through the dry season. His fur seems a bit patched. than Kruger. Let's see. So yeah, um, unfortunate for the vultures, other animals in the region, especially those 53 lions. But uh, okay, let's go to. Oh, okay. So hope you enjoyed this interesting live stream. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share the show with everyone you know, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.